Channel 5? What is this?
Shortly after moving in, Mike and his partner's first daughter, Georgia Leah, was born. Mike and his family lived happily in their
nightmare
new
neighbor
home
next
for
door.
2 years, until one night in January 2013, everything changed.
I was watching the television, and my partner was upstairs. She was pregnant, asleep in bed. That's when I heard.
What the fuck? Guys, is it guys toes? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Biggest loud bang I have ever heard in my life. It was massive. So I looked out, and just to see, and there was nothing. There was no sign of any chaos, no problems at all. Everything was just normal, as if nothing had happened.
A couple of days later, Mike asked his next-door neighbour John, leader of the Neighbourhood Watch Group, if he'd heard the same bang.
He just looked at me, as if to say, oh no, I haven't heard anything, you know. I just thought, okay.
Mike dismissed the
He's
incident
crazy, maybe.
and carried on with family life. But just 1 month later, he was in for another nasty shock.
Yasmin had already gone to bed. It was roughly around 12:30. So I got the bottles ready for my daughter, and then when I went into bed,
Again.
I saw like this almighty, like white light, and the noise that came from it was horrendous. Felt like it blinded me just for at least 1 or 2 seconds. Then I walked out into the street, and that's when I seen everyone, every single person in the street came straight out. I mean, every single person that lives here at 1 o'clock in the morning was standing outside in the street, and that's when I was wondering, what the hell is going on?
But this time, Mike wasn't the only person who heard the bang. His neighbour Colin was also shaken by the explosion.
The shockwave from it rattled the windows, and it was tremendously loud. It was like a military device.
Soon
Oh,
the
what?
neighbourhood was swamped with police, trying to find out who the culprit was. But just a few nights later, Mike and his neighbours were in for yet another sharp shock.
Came out of the house, and I saw that there was a series of rings placed on the bonnets of the cars. I thought they were actually candles being placed on the car at first. And then as I got a little bit closer, it looked like charcoal.
With the town councillor and ex-town mayor as his next-door neighbour, Mike turned to John Larson for advice.
Huh? It's not.
I asked him,
blood, no.
you know, what do you think is going on? I mean, who do you think is doing this? And that's when he said, oh, it could be a radical racist group, and they're situated somewhere in Wales, and there could be 1 or 2 other groups involved. And that's when I was listening to him wondering, why would anybody want to attack racially me or anybody else in a small town like Denby?
Like what? Again! Another fucking bomb!
In April 2013, 3 months after the first incident, Mike and the other neighbours were shaken by yet another terrifying explosion. Amazingly, no one had been hurt, and there was no debris to be seen, but someone had spotted something.
When I came out into the street, again, people were out, and there's a woman that came and ran out, and she said, I just saw someone run all the way up there. I've just seen someone. I thought, well, at least someone's been spotted. At least someone looks like is responsible for what was going on.
Why not put it,
I
guys?
was at that time.
Why don't they just put a camera? It's been 2 explosions. Wouldn't you think there's gonna be a third one? Just put some cameras up.
I was kind of relieved, thinking, I hope the police catch them, because that way it means it's all over. It's been sorted, it's been resolved, and everyone can get on with their lives. But they didn't find anybody. There was no one there.
It was happening several times a week on occasions. There was bangs. Sometimes we didn't actually get to find out or locate the source.
When you see the police around and the matter is unresolved, it becomes even more worrying, because you don't know what's going to happen next. In some way, you could say it's a sense of foreboding.
For the neighbours, the situation was about to escalate and become life-threatening.
One night there was a really big bang, and that was like the biggest explosion, and it was like as if you were in a war zone.
I could see police, I could see a lot of activity going on. There was police officers standing on each corners, plus there was police officers at the bottom end cornering off the street.
And this time the device contained a lethal ingredient.
Pieces or shards or ball bearings actually flew across and hit straight through the window of the house just across the road over there. And when it went through the window, it hit the headboard of the bed, and it could have easily hit someone because of that force, that velocity, hitting straight into a headboard. Just imagine what damage that can do to you.
I was told by people who'd seen it that the Land Rover rose 2 feet off the ground.
There's no doubt, had somebody been walking past at that time, then we could well have been investigating a murder.
We were getting scared now. We did not know what was going on. This was getting dark. You know, people were starting to get anxious. They wanted answers. They wanted to know where it was going, what was going to happen to them. And people started to move out of the area as well, you know, within a short space of time, because they didn't know what to expect. Their lives are at stake. Who's going to be next?
Mike's neighbour was one of the first on the scene when the inevitable news crews turned up.
It's him.
Everybody terrified, literally absolutely terrified. You know, we've got sheltered accommodation around here.
It's him.
There's lots of elderly. There's a lot of scared people. You know, you don't know when you're going to wake up, what's going to happen next. And you've also got the fact people can't sleep. You know, they're looking out the window, checking their cars all the time.
If that were you, you would have been living among us.
He was used to this kind of thing. He's used to interviews. He's used to dealing with professional people, so to speak. So that's his job. That's what he does. Yeah, he seemed to enjoy what he was doing, that much I did see. You know, it looked to me that he liked being in the limelight. He liked to be in front of the camera, giving his version of details as to what was going on.
But neither John or Mike could anticipate the next dramatic turn of events.
And saw this great big lorry, white lorry, like you've never seen, turn up outside the house. And they looked like army officers.
No, robots.
With actual bomb
Guys, what the fuck is a
units.
lorry? Yeah, what the fuck is a
police officers knocked on the door
white
and
lorry?
they told me
What is that
your
shit?
house is going to be evacuated. And then I said, oh, does that mean also John's going to be evacuated as well? That's when he said no.
One of my customers said that I bet you any money that it's John Larson that's doing all this bombings. And I said, no, he's a pillar of society. He's the ex-mayor. He's a councillor. He's on the county council as well. I said, it can't be anything to do with it.
In a dramatic turnaround of events, the police had received a tip-off and searched John Larson's property. They were shocked by what they discovered.
There were bags of chemicals. There were improvised devices, fireworks that had been tampered with. There were other bits of fuse wire, flash flares. There was a large quantity of that in all parts of the house.
Based on what they found, John Larson was arrested.
And to even suggest or think that John could have anything in his house remotely connected to any kind of lethal substance was just beyond me.
Did they show the big white
totally
lorry?
blew my mind completely.
The news quickly spread to the other neighbours.
You know, because I knew him,
Oh no, not the fucking lorry.
it was difficult.
Wait, they showed the bombs, really?
Can't be anything to do with it.
In a dramatic turnaround of events, the police had received a tip-off and searched John Larson's property. They were shocked by what they discovered.
Was it
Bags of
nitrates?
chemicals. There were improvised devices, fireworks that had been tampered with. There were other bits of fuse wire, flash flares. There was a large quantity of that in all parts of the house.
What the fuck?
Based on what they found, John Larson was arrested.
And to even suggest or think that John could have anything in his house remotely connected to any kind of lethal substance was just beyond me. It was just totally blew my mind completely.
Yes,
The
I
news
saw
quickly spread to the other
documentary with
neighbours.
Sammy the other day.
you know, because I knew him,
It was kind of shocking, mate. You know? I reckon.
It was difficult, you know, it was... and I think then, when that was announced, people wanted the legal process to take its course.
Mike testified against his neighbour in court. John Larson was found guilty of 3 counts of arson and causing explosions with intent to endanger life.
Yeah, these are beads. Get out. These are beads to make like shrapnel, right? These are made to go and actually hurt people, correct?
He was sent to prison for 18 years.
No, stop.
When it came to light that it was him, I was so shocked. And
Guys, why do people always think that explosion equals the terrorism? Like, what is wrong with you, man? That's not how things
because
work.
of all the publicity he had and the way he spoke, that he was so frightened for himself, his wife, his child, and you know.
Okay, just for the record, look how many look how many people are saying question mark. Look at this. Look at that. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. That is absolutely insane if people are that misinformed. I'm actually I'm taken aback by this. I cannot believe it.
He used to speak in council meetings all about it.
Oh my god.
If something should be done because it's getting so dangerous, and it ended up it was him after all that.
I was expecting somebody else, some kind of group, but not John Larson. He's just my neighbour.
It's not just because of RP though. I knew this ahead of time. Which where I'm from, we have classes of bullshit, okay? And you learn some of this shit, man. Bomb doesn't mean terrorism. Sometimes it's a method of delivering the terrorism. I'm not gonna say. I'm done. I'm not gonna say anything about that. I feel like I'm gonna get paraphrased and I'm gonna be in trouble. But basically that's how it is.